Hey guys, today we'll continue our studies of tensions. I'll explain how to get to this fundamental point, which is adding small tensions to a song like this. I'll explain why tensions work the way they do, and hopefully you'll have a working palette for adding tensions on your own. So let's get to it. Okay, so in the previous lesson, we learned that tensions are set distances from the root. For example, flat 9, if I'm in a C chord, is always a half step above the root. 9 is always a whole step above the root. Sharp 11 is always 3 steps above the root. Okay, so there are these set distances. So look how interestingly different tensions work on different chords. Let me give you an actual example. If I'm playing C major 7, notice that if I place a note a whole step above the C triad, which is C, E, G, for example, if I place a D in my chord, the chord is tense, but not unstable. If I place a note a whole step above the E, which is F sharp, again, maybe tense and mysterious, but certainly not unstable. And if I play a note above the G, the note A, certainly not unstable. So chord tones don't mind having notes a whole step above them. But watch what happens when I try to play something a half step above a chord tone. That's a D flat in a C chord, maybe an F on a C chord. How about G flat, which is a half step above G? A lot of tension. So for whatever reason, I'm not smart enough for the physics of it. Notes react poorly to notes half a step above chord tones, and more stably to notes a whole step above chord tones. But maybe I shouldn't have said poorly. It's just it creates a lot of tension and instability within the chord. Okay, so now we can make a very useful general rule from this and apply it to tensions. It's really, really simple. So if we have this, for example, let's take C major 7. So C major 7, we know that our numbers are 1, 3, 5, and major 7, right? Which are distances of major third, a fifth, and a major seventh, or 5.5 tones. So the available tensions for this chord will be exactly what is a whole step above chord tone. So that will be, you can use a 9, you can use a sharp 11, and you can use a 13. If my chord is a C7, and I'll get back to it in a second, you can use, C7 has a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 7, not a major 7. And my available tensions are, again, a whole step above the chord tones, 9, sharp 11, and 13. Okay, and I will come back to the C7 because it has some special properties that I will explain shortly. Okay, if I have a C7 chord, C minor 7, excuse me, its numbers are 1, flat 3, 5, and 7. And the available tensions, which are a whole step above the chord tones, are 9, 11, and 13. And if I have a C half diminished chord, its chord tones are 1, flat 3, flat 5, and 7. And now that the flat 5 has been lowered, the 5 has been lowered to flat 5, the available tensions are 9, 11, and flat 13. Okay, and there's a cool shortcut for remembering this, which I recommend. And that is, if you have 9 sharp 11 and 13 on a C major 7, they form a D chord. Sounds like this. So you can just remember it's a major triad, a whole step above your dominant. In a C7 chord, the triad 9 sharp 11 13 forms again D major over C. It's fun to remember. In C minor 7, the triad that will be formed will be 9, 11, and 13. It'll be D minor. And in C half diminished, the 9, 11, and 13 simply form another major diminished triad, a whole step above the root. Okay, so that's kind of a shortcut to remembering what the triad is. Now I'd like to explain something about the strange case of the dominant, because look at the dominants. Usually, the dominant in the plot serves as the most intense moment in your story. And your most intense part of the story typically has a need for more tension than other points in the plot. It's essentially caused, if you're in G7 over C, by the tritone of B and F, that dissonant 3-7. So dominants do love tension. So that's why I can add things a half step above chord tones. For example, I can make a C7 with a flat 9. Sounds cool, right? Just makes it want to resolve a bit more. So dominants accept, in addition to the 9 sharp 11 and 13, a flat 9, which is a half step above the root. They accept a sharp 9. They accept also a flat 13. And these two tensions are called the alter tensions. The alter dominant sound, a lot of really, really cool sounds, and we'll call them, it's the flat 9, the sharp 9, and the flat 13. Oops. And the flat 13. Okay, so now we can get to work on playing this. So how do we actually use this? I'm gonna clear this frame, and now we can actually learn to play the tensions. Here's how it's done. We know what we can use, and what we'll do is we'll take a simple shell voicing. A shell voicing is really a very simple, in a C major 7, it's 1, 3, and 7. Okay, if you like, you can make it dominant 7, that's C, E, and B flat, and you can make it C minor 7, making it C, B flat, E flat, like this. Okay, so once you do that, you have your shell voicings, which can really function well on the 5th string. And if you need to do this in the 6th string, you do this actually. You do 1 on the 6th string, and B on the 4th string, and E on the 3rd string. And you can do it again, make it 7 and minor 7. Shell voicings are great because they prepare the tensions. They really give you room to add the tensions later. Let me write you the voicings for them. They're really simple. So we have in root 6, we have, these are the strings, the 6th, the 4th, and the 3rd. We have a 1, a 7, and a 3. And when you're trying to do the same chord on the 5th string, your strings are 5, 4, 3, and your numbers are 1, 3, 7. So the 3 and the 7 have basically traded places. and they always stay on the third and fourth string, and it gives a lot of beautiful voice leading. Okay, so now I can actually play 8 bars of All the Things You Are. Let's practice that first. Here it goes. F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, and A flat major 7. And then D flat major 7, G7, and C major 7. Okay, so to simply play it with voice leading, all you have to do is start somewhere. This is my F minor 7. And all I'm doing is I'm finding the B flat minor 7 that's closest. So I'm not jumping all the way here. It's like playing bar chords. So this is much easier, of course. Right? And when I do this, I get this cool movement. So all these cool connections of seconds, because the strings 3 and 4 are actually getting voice led for free. Okay, so now comes the interesting part of adding tensions. And when I do add tensions, I simply apply 2 rules in the beginning stages. I ask myself what's allowed and what is nearby. And let me give you my example, and you can practice it later. My example goes like this. I'm adding the 9 to F minor 7, a 5 to B flat minor 7. And on B flat 7, I'll do 2 things. I'll add a sharp 9, then a flat 9. And going to A flat, I will add my 5, and I get this nice line. On my D flat, I'll add the 9, and on G7, I'll add 13, flat 13, and a 9, and that'll be it. Okay, let me pencil those in, and I really suggest you practice this. Okay, so I've added a 9, and I've returned the 5, and now sharp 9 goes to flat 9. And for the A flat, I added the 5, or brought it back. For the D flat, the 9 again. The G7 got 13, that resolved to flat 13. The C major 7 got a 9. Okay, now you can watch it and play with me. Here it goes. And that's it. So practice that. Remember the key points. We have shell voicings, and we can add to each chord normally any tension that's a whole step above a chord tone, and in each category it's a different collection of numbers. And when we add tensions, we do it by being both melodic and doing things that don't destroy the chords. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. I want my little channel to grow someday. And feel free to ask questions in the comments. And bye-bye, guys.